But I wanted to jump on because obviously it's been bombs, missiles, all kinds of stuff. And to be clear, I've still not gotten any type of briefing. So just so y'all know, nobody's tried to call us in for a top secret briefing at all as whole sitting members of Congress, but you know, whatever. So I wanted to make sure that y'all knew that. So unfortunately, my information is not any more advanced than the information that you're getting, whether you're watching TV or if you're on social media. And to understand enough about the Constitution to the extent that I'm the one that's supposed to make a fucking decision or at least get a vote. That's right. So literally, like,
Boy. I gotta tell you guys, Trump woke up today and he wanted all the smoke with everybody, okay? He wanted to smoke with the mainstream liberal media. He wanted to smoke with Israel. He wanted it with Iran. And now he's moved on to the Democrats, okay? Because Democrats are suffering from main character syndrome. As you guys saw at the beginning of this video, ghetto Congresswoman Jasmine Ratchet is very upset that President Trump did not include Democrats on the strikes that took place on Iran, right? They're very upset that President Trump didn't reveal a top secret strike that Democrats probably would have leaked because they hate Trump that much, right? And they don't want to see Trump be successful. So now they're basically calling for President Trump's impeachment, despite the fact that Biden and Obama did the exact same thing that Trump did. And Democrats were not upset about it, right? They were not calling for impeachment. They weren't out here trying to demand that the president not be able to issue these strikes. They weren't doing any of these things, okay? And all of a sudden, they're boo-hoo, whining, and crying because they were left out, right? I think that's literally what they're upset about. They're mad and they're upset that President Trump didn't tell them about what he was doing, right? That they weren't in on what was happening, right? That they were getting their news from X, from the liberal media, like, you know, regular, normal people, right? They felt regular and normal. They didn't feel like they were special, okay? That's exactly what's happening, okay? And I think that's what they're really upset about here. And that is why you have people like AOC raging and demanding that, you know, President Trump be impeached.
United States admitting that he unilaterally brought the United States into a war without congressional approval is a very grave public admission. It is illegal, it is unconstitutional, and so for me, while the president is posting something about a ceasefire, I think what he also posted was an official acknowledgement that this was war. And I think that is something that should be taken into very serious consideration.
There are a lot of Democrats who are throwing cold water on the idea that the president deserves to be impeached over this and saying that you shouldn't be throwing around impeachment given it's such a grave, serious matter. What do you say to them?
I mean, of course, everyone can have their differences of opinion regarding that matter. A resolution has not been filed, and not filed in a privileged sense. I believe that a president bombing and bringing this country into direct conflict with another nation state without notifying, full notification of Congress, without congressional approval, endangering service members, U.S. military bases, not providing intelligence is reckless. I think that, and we know that this is not a left or right issue. An overwhelming amount of Americans are opposed to the United States being dragged into war. And if we want to talk about serious decisions, I think the serious decision of entering the United States into direct conflict without any legal approval, unconstitutionally, is the grave decision that we need to be talking about right now. Thank you so much.
Not providing intelligence, right? So I want you guys to understand, that is what this is all about, right? They're really just upset. Their feelings are hurt that for, I don't know, a week, they were treated like normal people when it comes to what was happening overseas, right? Again, it's just very, very, very funny to watch these people clearly display their hurt feelings, right? They're really hurt that Trump left them in the dark when it came to our plans, which, again, we can't trust these people because these are the same people who were ready with their Iran flags, right, to protest on behalf of Iran, right? They were ready to go. I don't think they can be trusted to keep such sensitive information, right? They might have leaked the attack plans to Iran to give them an opportunity to be prepared for it, right? This is what Democrats probably would have did, right? They probably would have committed an act of treason, okay? We've already seen that Nancy Pelosi and General Milley, that they are willing to commit treason against President Trump, right? They are willing to give our enemies, aka China, a heads up just in case Trump wants to launch an attack. So again, I would never trust these people with that type of information. And Trump was right. The White House was right not to tell them a damn thing, okay? So that being said, President Trump has dropped the hammer on AOC, okay? Again, he woke up this morning and chose violence against literally everybody because he wrote this really, really, really long post going off on AOC and Jasmine Ratchet, boo-hooing and crying about not getting the information that they think they're entitled to. Let's read here. Stupid AOC, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, one of the dumbest people in Congress, is now calling for my impeachment, despite the fact that the crooked and corrupt Democrats have already done that twice before. The reason for her rantings is all of the victories that the USA has had under the Trump administration. The Democrats aren't used to winning, and she can't stand the concept of our country being successful again. When we examine her test scores, we will find out that she is not qualified for office. But nonetheless, far more qualified than Crockett, who is a seriously low IQ individual. Hold on now. President Trump better be careful. They're going to say he racist. Okay, you can't call women of color dumb or low IQ, right? Especially a black woman. You can't say a black woman has low IQ or else you're racist, right? That's a racist dog whistle. Or Ilhan Omar, who does nothing but complain about our country, yet the failed country that she comes from doesn't have a government, is drenched in crime and poverty, and is rated one of the worst in the world, if it's even rated at all. Again, President Trump woke up and chose violence, okay? This is one of the most violent posts that I've ever seen for President Trump. How dare the mouse tell us how to run the United States of America? We're just now coming back from that radical left experiment with Sleepy Joe, Kamala, and the auto pen in charge. What a disaster it was. AOC should be forced to take the cognitive test that I just completed at Walter Reed Medical Center as part of my physical. As the doctor in charge said, President Trump aced it, meaning I got every answer right. Instead of her constant complaining, Alexandria should go back home to Queens, where I was also brought up, and straighten out her filthy, disgusting, crime-ridden streaks in the district she represents and which she never goes to anymore. She better start worrying about her own primary before she thinks about beating our great Palestinian senator, crying Chuck Schumer, whose career is definitely on very thin ice. She and her Democrat friends have just hit the lowest poll numbers in congressional history. So go ahead and try to impeach me again. Make my day. Yeah. So President Trump, again, he chose violence. Somebody call 911. President Trump just hammered AOC. Okay. I mean, this post right here was nothing but smoke. Okay. Nothing but smoke. Okay. I haven't seen a Democrat hammered this bad since Paul Pelosi. Okay. So I'm just saying that, AOC, she really is barking up the wrong tree here. So she responded. She says, Mr. President, don't take your anger out on me. I'm just a silly girl. Take it out on whoever convinced you to betray the American people and our Constitution by illegally bombing Iran and dragging us into war. It only took 5 months for you to break almost every promise you made. Yeah, again, this is silly, right? All of these people boo-hooing and crying about war. They're liars, right? And also on top of that, they're being disingenuous and fake, right? And hypocritical. Because again, Biden did the exact same thing, and you don't have Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez running around talking about how Biden illegally dragged us into a war or whatever, right? I mean, again, these people, they make me sick. When you have Charlemagne the God and Stephen A. Smith and ABC news anchors, when you have these people calling you out and saying that, you know what, Democrats don't have any room to talk. Again, this is probably not the battle that you want to be fighting. As I've laid out 1,000 times, and I will continue to say it, the worst thing the Democrats can do is to make the midterms about impeaching Trump, right? If that's the route that they want to go down, then they're going to lose, right? It's not going to be successful, okay? Because if you want to put Trump on the ballot, Democrats do not have a track record of performing very well when Trump is on the ballot, okay? And trying to impeach him, trying to make the midterms about, well, let's impeach Trump, is essentially putting Trump on the ballot. And I just don't think that works out well in the favor of the Democrats, okay? But regardless, that doesn't stop the lunatics from virtue signaling to their radical base of freaks, which is what caveman Neanderthal Congressman Al Green is doing, okay? This guy has come out of hibernation from the Smithsonian, and he has crawled up into Congress. And he's now filing articles of impeachment against President Trump. So without further ado, let's listen to Homo erectus, ooh, and about President Trump. And let's get into it.
Mr. Speaker, and still I rise. And I rise today in the name of government of the people, by the people, for the people. I rise today because our country is nearing a moment of decision. I rise because we are at the intersection of democracy and autocracy. I rise to announce that at this moment in time, I have filed H-Res 537. H-Res 537 is a privileged resolution. H-Res 537 has been filed because I believe that the President of the United States has committed an impeachable act. H-Res 537 addresses abuse of presidential powers by disregarding the separation of powers, devolving American democracy into an authoritarian government, usurping congressional power to declare war. Mr. Speaker, I take no delight in what I'm doing. I do this because I love my country. I do this because I understand that the Constitution is going to be meaningful or it will be meaningless. I do it because I understand that the President of the United States of America has a duty to consult Congress before taking this country to war. I do it because...
Now, again, President Trump gave Chuck Schumer a heads up. He gave Hakeem Jeffries a heads up. Hakeem Jeffries did not answer the phone. So he gave the Democrats their heads up, okay, before the attack. Again, these people are upset. They're mad because President Trump didn't go to Congress, right, and go through a process that no other president has to do, right, apparently except Trump, okay? Biden didn't have to do it. Obama didn't have to do it. Like, they don't have to do it. No president's really had to do this, but now Trump got to do it, okay, because these people's feelings are hurt, right? Their feelings are hurt. They feel powerless, right? They don't feel special. So that's what they're doing, right? That's what's happening here. They're impeaching the president because their feelings are hurt. That's what's happening. These people are pathetic. They are pathetic.
No one person should have the power to take over 300 million people to war without consulting with the Congress of the United States of America. I do this because if I do not, this authoritarian president that we currently have will continue to assume power. He has already instigated an assault on the citadel of democracy, the capital of the United States of America. He went so far as to pardon the persons who were actually involved in the assault. He has denied persons due process of the law. I believe that if we do not take immediate action, this authoritarian president will not only devolve the country into authoritarianism, I believe he is a would-be dictator who would become a dictator. So I today announce that later today, I will bring these articles of impeachment to the floor. and I will call for a vote. I believe that the hour of decision is upon us, and we all have to decide. Are we going to go down and choose the path of democracy, or we allow ourselves to choose the low road of autocracy? I believe that this country has come too far to allow a single person to declare war without conferring with the Congress of the United States of America. This is where I stand. This is what I will do, and I do it in the name of my country that I love dearly. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I yield back the balance of my time.
Yeah, so this is going nowhere at all. This is a virtue signal. This is grandstanding, right? I mean, he's giving Cory Booker a run for his money, right, in regards to grandstander of the year, okay? Because absolutely zero will come of this. It would be a huge mistake for Democrats to make the midterms about Trump. But if that's what they want to do, right, if they want to put Trump on the ballot, if they want to go out there and to radicalize their base saying that, hey, we're going to impeach Trump, we're going to kick him out of office, right, even though they have zero chance of winning the Senate. And I don't think they have a great chance of winning back the House, but they got a way better chance of winning back the House than the Senate. There's a reason why Democrat leadership, why they're not really getting on board with this, right? They're talking tough, but they're really not trying to push this because they know that politically speaking is just a bad idea, right? They've already tried this multiple times. It hasn't worked. It's not going to work. But, you know, you have the lunatics who aren't very sophisticated when it comes to politics and how to navigate these things. They're pushing this anyways, right? And again, if this is the route they want to go down, be my guest, right? Try to make the midterms about impeaching Trump. Please, right? Please. That will do nothing but actually motivate people to get out and vote more when they otherwise won't be motivated to vote for, you know, regular Republicans, right? Because, again, Republicans do not perform that well when Trump is not on the ballot. But when he is on the ballot, then they tend to perform well. And, again, if you want to make the midterms about impeaching Trump, then you're going to motivate people to get out and vote because effectively you are trying to put Trump on the ballot. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.